G'day, it's Robbie again. Well, in a recent video I de-rusted this nice little shifter I got off the side of the road. Someone threw it out. And I used vinegar and yeah, it did a great job, fantastic. Anyway, I got a lot of comments on it, people were interested in it. And sometimes you get comments that surprise you, and I got a comment for this that did surprise me, and it was from a guy, a young guy, and he said, oh, what did I use to neutralise the vinegar? Did I use anything? And I said, replied back and I said, no, it was such weak stuff, I just washed it off with water. I mean, if it had been acid like hydrochloric or sulfamic or something, I would have neutralised it with some alkaline, you know, washing soda or something like that. But as it was just vinegar, it just washed off with water. And then I said I just went over with an oily rag, stop it rusting. And I thought that was that. Anyway, he got back to me and said, oh, thanks for the information. And I'd never thought about using oily rag to stop rust. And I just thought, oh, okay. I mean, when you do this sort of thing, you do things and just take it for granted that everybody knows what's what, you know, some simple things. And here's a classic example. How do you stop rust, you know, forming on your tools? Now, we're fortunate because we live in a pretty dry climate here, so rust isn't a really huge problem, but it does happen. And, you know, you can get specialist stuff to put on tools to stop it rusting, and people use beeswax and linseed oil, and there's all sorts of stuff. But my old man was a mechanic all his life, and all he ever used was what I use from him showing me. It's just a oily rag with plain old car engine oil on it. And it doesn't have to be anything fantastic. It's not like dripping with oil. It's just got to be enough that if you rub your fingers on it, you get a little shine on your, just a little shine on your fingerprints, you know. I'll show you. I wasn't actually going to even do this video, and I thought, oh, it's probably a good conversation piece because a lot of people, you know, probably like the young guy, I suppose, don't know. And that's all I ever use, just an oily rag like that. And as you can see, it's not dripping, but you can see it's put a shine on my fingers. You see that? It's that's all you need. Just put a shine on your fingers. So then you've got a little coating on whatever you put. Now this is a steel work area here for putting magnetic bases and stuff on, oil cans. And it's just bare metal. You can see there's no rust, you know. And the same with the old lathe. This is just all bare metal, but no rust. And all it's done is just been wiped over with this rag. Now, I mean, there's probably better stuff you can use, but as I said, that's all I've ever used. And if you ever look at any of my tooling, you very rarely will see rust on any of it anywhere. And it's just oily rag. The same thing is if I've got to cover anything over it, once again it's just an oily rag, and that's just on the old Shoreland. We've got one on the tailstock as well. I mean, with these old girls, they piss oil out anyway when you're using them, so you're forever mopping up oil that dribbles out of the oilers. But then the rag you've got is going to be really good and oily, and yeah, just use it. Don't get it dirty. I mean, you don't want to get dirt on it, but just use it to cover over your goodies, and everything will be good. And it's the same with the Chinese lathe. I mean, some of the stuff's chrome plated, and some's aluminium, but all this stuff is all just rustable metal. And once again, all of this is just that very, very fine wipe over with oily rag. So anyway, for what it's worth, that's it. Oh, you can look in the drawer and I'll show you some of my tooling. You can see that, you know, I'm not speaking with forked tongue. I'll show you. We'll have a look. So, same thing here. All this stuff is all, you know, just laying there. No rust on any of it. And, you know, plain metal wrench, you know. And in the drawer here, all the bits and pieces, chuck drawers, and they've all just had to whop over with an oily rag treatment. So, yeah, it works for me. Used to work for my old man. I mean, some things you maybe don't want to rub an oily rag over, like say wood saws. You know, anything you're doing woodworking, I'd be a bit dubious about using an oily rag on it. But screwdrivers and stuff like that, or anything to do with metal work, you're fine, because it's not going to matter, you know. But if you're doing woodwork, well then, yeah, I'd think twice about it. I wouldn't be too keen on using an oily rag. If it's long-term storage, and I don't use woodworking tools very often at all, I generally do oil them down, you know, just whop a rag over them. But if you're using them regularly, maybe you wouldn't want to do that. I don't know what you'd use on that. But anyway, it's a good discussion point, so put in the comments what you think. But anyway, there it is. It's just a basic thing. Anybody that's, you know, interested, see, same as that. That's all I do. Okay, I hope that helps. Give you something to think about. We'll see you next time. Cheers.